Hello and welcome to the program. This is Energy and You, the weekly show that brings you developments in the energy sector with a focus on NNPC Limited. I'm Egusa Igumbo. Tonight, NNPC rallies the judiciary in a fight against crude oil theft, calls for speedy hearing and special courts to try offences. And the national oil company leverages gas, technology and innovation for a sustainable energy future for Africa. Plus, NNPC's telecommunications subsidiary, NAPET, re-strategizes on its customer-oriented service culture. We'll bring you details of these stories and much more in just a moment. Please join us again. Thanks for staying with us. We begin the show with global energy stories making the headlines this week. Oil prices slipped in Asian trading at the start of the week after a survey over the weekend showed weaker U.S. consumer demand as May crude production rose in China, the world's biggest crude importer. Global benchmark Brent crude futures for August delivery was down 29 cents at $82.33 per barrel. China's oil refinery output for May slipped 1.8% from a year ago, as refiners undertook planned maintenance overhauls and processing margins were pressured by rising crude costs. Refiners processed 60.52 million metric tons of crude oil in May, according to data from the National Bureau of Statistics, which is equivalent to 14.25 million barrels per day. British wind and solar farms exporting power to continental Europe could face CO2 fees from 2026, even though they don't produce any emissions, unless the UK and European Union can agree changes around the EU's carbon border tax. The charges, set out in the little notice clause of the CO2 levy law, could hit revenues of renewable energy projects in the UK, add to already high EU power prices, and even lead to higher emissions. Peru officials are looking at ways to help cash-strapped state oil firm Petroperu avoid bankruptcy or liquidation. Economy Minister Jose Arista told Congress last week, including cost-cutting, asset sales, and possible private management. The company described its financial condition last month as extremely grave. For Nigeria to maximize the full potentials of the oil and gas industry in order to achieve economic and industrial development, the twin challenges of crude oil theft and pipeline vandalism must be tackled with the total support of all stakeholders. In light of this, the Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPC Limited, Mr. Mele Kyari, has called on the judiciary to play their part in this fight. Energy and You cover the event.
In a goodwill message at the National Judges Workshop on the Petroleum Industry Act PIA 2021, organized by the National Judicial Institute and Investing 234 in Abuja, the Group CEO of NNPC Limited, Mr. Mele Kyari, stated that the gains of the PIA have been severely undermined by crude oil theft and pipeline vandalism. He urged the judiciary to consider the creation of a special court to try offences related to crude oil theft and pipeline vandalism or grant accelerated hearings to such cases.
I would like to draw attention of your Lordship to the menace of crude oil theft and pipeline vandalism that has hampered national development security. Your Lordship, it's a challenge that we have to face. I can share with you that today, we have over 6,800 infractions on our pipeline within 2 years. Insertions on our pipeline of about 6,000 times. And of course, thousands of arrests have been made. In this context, the role of the judiciary is critical in curtailing this menace in order to ensure the success of the various security arrangements put in place by NNPC, the law enforcement agency, and other stakeholders in the industry. In particular, it is our recommendation that a special court be created to try those offences as they hinge on our survival as a country.
Mr. Mele Kyari also explained that the PIA has imposed some responsibilities on NNPC Limited that other limited liability companies do not bear. One of such critical functions, the group CEO stated, is for NNPC Limited to guarantee the nation's energy security by being the supplier of last resort, with all associated costs covered by the Federation, which means, regardless of economic conditions, NNPC must ensure availability of PMS and other key fuels that are needed by Nigerians.
The PIA has imposed some responsibilities on the NNPC Limited that other limited liability companies do not do. One critical function for the NNPC is to be the supplier of last resort for security reasons, with all associated costs covered by the Federation. This perhaps may mean definitely around energy security for our country. Every country has a framework for doing this, and you must have an institution or an organization that takes that responsibility. This is the purpose of the law under the circumstance of difficulties. I have seen it, reflected many times.
In a keynote address, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Chief Justice Olukayode Ariwoola, highlighted the importance of the workshop in enhancing the knowledge and skills of judges in interpreting and applying the PIA and other relevant laws.
The importance of this workshop is drawn and emphasized by the complexity of the issues and disputes in the petroleum and gas sector. And this requires legal practitioners and judges to develop their knowledge to be effective in practice and management of cases involving the sector.
NNPC Limited's participation at the workshop by the Nigerian Judicial Institute underscores the company's commitment to advocating for streamlined legal processes and a well-informed judiciary to the oil and gas sector.
We are the largest single asset holder in Africa's oil and gas industry and poised to be the dynamic global energy company of choice. We are constantly innovating to be the prime company for energy sufficiency. We are NNPC Limited, energy for today, energy for tomorrow.
You're still watching Energy and You. Time now for our weekly update on NNPC Limited's war against crude oil theft and pipeline vandalism.
The war on crude oil theft is on, and the industry-wide security collaboration on hydrocarbon infrastructure continues to record remarkable progress. Between the 7th and 14th of June 2024, a total of 198 incidents were recorded across several locations in the Niger Delta region from several incidents sources. Tantita Security Services, Shell Petroleum Development Company, Pipeline Infrastructure Nigeria Limited, Maton Engineering Company, NNPC 18 Operating Limited, NNPC Command and Control Center, and government security agencies. Along Ogunu Road Barracks in Warri, a truck driver loading stolen crude from a hose connected to an illegal connection on this piece of land was caught.
This place was open last night to take the crude. Unfortunately, we apprehended the truck. Apprehended the truck and also arrested two persons.
The connection is from a Transforcados pipeline in front of the military barracks in Warri, Delta State. This aerial shot reveals how the hose was connected to the parked trailer on the expressway. 14 illegal connections were uncovered this week across the Niger Delta, in Rumwepe in Rivers State, in Bras, Bayelsa State, where an IC was discovered on an Ajib pipeline, and 3 illegal connections around Well 58 flow lines in Owaza, Abia State. 80 illegal refineries were uncovered in Basambiri and West Boma in Bayelsa State, Oguta and Egbema in Imo State, Ebocha, Omoko Town, Elele Alimini, East-West Road, Samagana and Andoni in Rivers State. In the past week, 7 cases of vandalism were reported on oil wellheads in Obodo Omadino in Delta State and on a pipeline in Umuajiluke community in Rivers State. 10 illegal storage sites were uncovered in Sax and Tampoline oil reservoirs in Imo State, Rivers, Bayelsa, and Delta State, leading to 3 cases of oil spill, while 32 wooden boats conveying stolen crude or illegally processed crude were seized and confiscated in Delta, Rivers, and Ondo State. On land, 10 vehicle arrests were made in Imo, Delta, and Akwa Ibom states. 42 of these incidents took place in the deep blue water, 31 in the western region, 66 in the central region, and 59 in the eastern region. Between the 7th and 14th of June 2024, 8 suspects were arrested. For NNPC Limited, there is no backing down on the war on crude oil theft until the menace is eradicated for good. To report crude oil theft or suspicious activities within your area, call the numbers on your screen now or send an email to report@stopcrudetheft.com. Handsome rewards await the whistleblower. Do your part. Report oil theft today.
NNPC Limited is leading the charge towards leveraging gas technology and innovation for a sustainable energy future in Nigeria and Africa. The company's Group Chief Executive Officer, Mr. Mele Kyari, stated this at the 2024 Africa Gas Innovation Summit, organized by Society of Petroleum Engineers Nigeria Council in Abuja. Let's take a look.
In a paper titled Attracting Investments to Power Africa's Future, at the opening ceremony of the summit with theme Igniting the Future, Driving Sustainability in Africa's Energy Landscape Through Gas Technology and Innovation, Kyari emphasized Nigeria's strategic role and aspirations as a leading gas producer in Africa. Represented by the company's Executive Vice President, Gas, Power and New Energy, Olaliko Ogunleye, the GCO reiterated NNPC Limited's commitment to providing access to energy in its various forms: electricity, clean cooking fuel, auto gas, and industrial feedstock to generate wealth and mitigate carbon emissions in Nigeria and the African continent.
From an NNPC standpoint, this summit's theme and topics clearly resonate, as NNPC is at the forefront of orchestrating a sustainable energy future for itself and Africa, leveraging on gas, technology, and innovation.
He also highlighted NNPC Limited's significant investments in gas infrastructure projects, including the recently commissioned second phase of the AHL gas processing plant, the Ano gas processing plant, and the 23.3-kilometer Ano to Obiafu Obricom Oben OB3 custody transfer metering station gas pipeline projects as part of the company's efforts at guaranteeing access to energy for a sustainable future.
NNPC, following the President's gas prosperity agenda, is absolutely focused on leveraging on the nation's gas assets to significantly generate value and opportunities for all Nigerians. This indeed is what all Nigerians desire. In order to accelerate gas commercialization, bearing in mind that this is the era of gas, NNPC has signed MOUs and project development agreements for floating LNG projects, which will be the first in Nigeria, while currently executing a 30 million scf per day small-scale mini LNG project. Indeed, we are currently participating in 3 mini LNG projects slated for groundbreaking this August.
The chairman of the Society of Petroleum Engineers, Nigeria Council, and head of Asset and Investments Management at NGPIS, Engineer Salahuddin Tahir, emphasized the need for sustainable solutions and collaboration, citing the Nigeria-Morocco gas pipeline, Tanzania-Uganda gas pipeline, and African Energy Bank as pivotal initiatives for a sustainable energy future in Africa.
There is no doubt that Africa is sitting on vast oil and gas resources. The shortest path to developing these gas resources is through collaboration. Collaboration, such as what we are demonstrating today, by coming together to make this event happen. It is heartwarming to note that collaborative initiatives such as the proposed Nigeria-Morocco gas pipeline and the Tanzania-Uganda gas pipeline are progressing. We need more of these projects and initiatives. On the 4th of June 2024, the establishment agreement and the charter of the African Energy Bank was executed by Afrexim and the Africa Petroleum Producers Organization. This is a forward-thinking initiative that must be supported by all African gas producers.
The Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Gas, Right Honorable Ekperipe Ekpo, was represented by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Ambassador Nicholas Agbo Ella, along with other dignitaries.
The National Petroleum Telecommunications Limited, NAPET, recently held its staff retreat in Abuja. The retreat was aimed at fostering teamwork, enhancing communications, and promoting a sense of unity among its staff. Members of the management team and staff of the company were in attendance.
With the theme, Energizing Connection, the objective of the retreat was to reflect, brainstorm, and drive operational excellence among the staff of the company. In his welcome address, the managing director of the company, Mr. Sanusi Yarima, set the tone with the presentation on business expectations, where he emphasized the need for continuous improvement by all staff to meet the company's 2024 targets.
With this retreat, we need to change the narrative. We need to come out and see that we are service providers for all. We are not only service providers to NNPC, oil and gas. We are service providers for all. And that's the intent of this, our retreat, and we are going to strategize.
The event featured various internal and external speakers who covered topics ranging from sustainability and NNPC's strategic roadmap to customer-oriented service culture. A health and wellness session was also included among other engaging topics.
But what is the difference between those who succeed is that they go the extra mile. Is that extra? It's not the person. It's the action. He went extra mile. Stepping from that point, looking back, we can say yes, today we have an NNPC, starting from the big picture point of view. We can say we have an NNPC that if all of us believe will succeed, will be the best company in Nigeria, at the very minimum, will be the best company in Africa in the medium term, and can be the best company in the world.
After the 2 days event, participants had the following to say.
As seeing Energizing Connections, before coming I had a lot of expectations, and honestly most of my expectations are met. We've had very, very wonderful speakers on very, very critical issues that will help us in rethinking and reshaping our future.
It's indeed energizing connection, because we have a lot of funds, and most importantly, we have an excellent SMEs that touch the heart of NAPET. That is the infrastructure project that we are about to embark on. So they have really x-rayed some aspect which we have not initially think of. Now is after the retreat, we will make sure we encapsulate all those aspects that we have gathered in the retreat in our project to make it realizable.
The spirit of Energizing Connection is set to propel the National Petroleum Telecommunications Limited (NAPET) forward as staff members return to their roles more connected, motivated, and aligned with the company's vision for the future.
NNPC Limited continues to demonstrate its commitment to imbibe best global practices for maximum profitability and stakeholder value. A recent roadshow was organized by the company's division on governance, risk, and compliance to sensitize staff on best ethical culture. The roadshow was taken to the company's subsidiary, NNPC Energy Services Limited, NSEV.
The roadshow program by NNPC's Division on Governance, Risk and Compliance provided the avenue to sensitize and share with staff of NNPC's Energy Services Limited, NSEV, best international perspectives on business ethics. The interactive session took place under the theme, Entrenching Ethical Culture, Walk the Talk. Speaking after the engagement, NNPC's Chief Compliance Officer, Mr. Nasir Usman, commended the management and staff of NSERV for their enthusiasm and active participation. He expressed optimism on the successful implementation of the knowledge gathered to support NNPC in its journey to excellence.
What we expect from NSERV is to put into practice all these principles that we have discussed, deliberated and elaborated on during our engagement session. So we expect to see practical implementation of these issues.
NSERV's Managing Director, Mrs. Sophia Mbakwe, also highlighted the importance of the engagement, stating that it was a timely reminder of the need for frequent discussions as business partners.
These engagements, we speak openly, we understand the appropriate requirements and how we must adhere to them. So for us, it's something that we embrace and something that we want to get more clarity so that in our everyday operations and activities, we ensure that we're 100% compliant. We know that it's a target that we want to achieve, and in certain areas, zero compliance and tolerance, and this is what we always will attend to in NSEV to achieve every single requirement.
The roadshow also featured questions, answers, and quizzes with prizes for the winning team. The engagement of staff by NNPC Limited on best ethical business conduct and the need for adequate compliance demonstrates the commitment of the National Oil Company in promoting ethical conduct in its operations and partnerships, aligning with global best practices in the oil and gas industry.
The newly commissioned auto gas facility in Lagos State by NNPC Limited indicates the commitment of NNPC towards gas accessibility and sustainability. The CNG plant boasts of a reserve of 5.2 million metric standard cubic feet per day, with a capacity to dispense gas to 3,700 cars and 600 trucks and buses every day. This comes with a promise by NNPC Limited to replicate the laudable gesture in strategic locations nationwide. Energy and You engaged Nigerians on their expectations from the CNG initiative already gaining momentum across the country.
CNG is a welcome development. We know in developed countries, in a lot of countries in the world, there are administrations that have already started tapping into the benefits of this. It's commendable. And starting off in Lagos, we know that Lagos has a measurable high quota of population, and it's a good place to start, and we believe that gradually as it begins to spread to other parts of the nation, we can be able to tap into the rich benefits of this.
With this development, we are producing it in our own house. It will help us to reduce the cost and make life easy for the common man.
My expectation to this CNG initiative is that based on the explanation and what I'm hearing and what will happen, it may likely crash down the price of petroleum. Then also introduce or increase job opportunity to every applicant that needs job in that line.
If we have such kind of initiative, it will be highly welcome and appreciated. But basically, if such is being done, we only pray if there will be continuity of it.
Some interesting responses there. Well, it's on that note that we draw the curtains on this episode of Energy and You. If you missed any part of the show or previous episodes, you can catch up by scanning the code on your screen now. Remember to follow us on all our social media handles to get updates on the activities of NNPC Limited. I'm Egosa Egumbo. Thanks for watching and see you again.